John chapter 14. Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also.
We're not fighting for riches of this world. We're not fighting for a position in this world. We're not fighting for a plot of land in this world to where we can claim our stake, and have an inheritance with the rest of the world. No, when we get our inheritance, we're going to get everything. The book of Psalms, chapter 16 and verse 11. It says, "Thou wilt show me the path of life." So we're on the path of life. The path of life leads to paradise. The path of life leads to glory, which the glory is the kingdom of heaven. And we're on that path of life. We're walking on the path of the tree of life to gain eternal life.
I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also.
That power is getting ready to be put back in us. For those who believe and have ears, that power that Yahushua had on the earth, we're going to get that and more. And we're going to get those heavenly bodies, man. See, Yahushua died on the cross and went through all that he went through so he can go back on the right-hand side and be glorified. We're fighting and making our bodies a living sacrifice so that we can eventually be back glorified with him as well as we were before the foundation of the earth.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Shai. All right, and this is another, edition of War Talk where we're going to pretty much, go through, the updates and the troop movements and, the strategic, plans of these militaries, as they're put themselves in position to fight. All right, the energy in the earth is war. Okay, the energy amongst, the superpowers in the earth is war, man. And for decades, these nations have been stockpiling weaponry, stockpiling nuclear warheads for this moment, and it's all the will of Yahweh Shema Shah. If brother can put that in Ecclesiastes 3rd chapter, I believe it's the 8th verse, Ecclesiastes 3 and 8, going into a time for war. Because that's where we at, man. All right, and it's only a matter of time as we see these domestic, prophecies play out. All right, the MOTB, is becoming, normal, in the media. all right, is becoming normalized in culture in this society. You know, we understand that all these prophecies are linked together, and when it happened, all right, when that one domino fall, all right, it's going to hit all the other dominoes of prophecy, man, and it's going to be quick. That's why Howard Shah said, "Behold, I come quickly, man." When this thing really hits, it's going to be real quick, man. All right, now, let me cue up this video. All right, with this from the guy. Off grid farming, you know, which pretty much he been very active these last 2 days. But we're gonna go into 2 of his videos, you know, and he's gonna go into, you know, the troop movement of Russia. All right, Russia is to the point now where they tried to talk to, you know, America and NATO about, you know, particular red lines, and pretty much NATO and America, you know, was treating Russia, you know, like a little chump. All right. You know, pretty much shrugging the shoulder at Russia. So Russia, like, well, cool. All right. Well, we just gonna do what we gotta do. You know, we're gonna stop asking and, you know, trying to see how y'all gonna move. We just gonna move. We just gonna do what's good for us, man. All right. Now, let's get this. All right.
Get to the news this morning, and I'm going to bring you up to date on the current.
This is from the brother. All right. Yashima tribe of Judah. This is Ecclesiastes 3 and 8. It says a time of love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. And right now we're in a time of war, man. All right, the war drums, all right, are beating loud. All right. It says in Jeremiah, I believe that's Jeremiah 50 and 20, a sound of battle is in the land. You know, Jeremiah 50 and 22, maybe. If a brother can put that up, or Jeremiah 51 and 20, you know. All right, this is on Sathak Shar 2. This is Luke 21 and 10. He says, "Then said he unto them, nation shall rise up against nation and kingdom against kingdom." All right, and this is one of the signs that Yahushua gave us, you know, of the nearness of his second coming, you know, would be the energy of war, all right, the energy of division amongst these nations that we will see, you know, and that's all we've been seeing over the years. Now, I'm gonna go into this. Let me share the screen again. Yep. All right, this is Bayan Yasha'Allah, Jeremiah 52 and Jeremiah 50 and 22. It says a sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. You see, a sound of battle in the land of great destruction, because as we're about to see, all right, Russia is bringing them things out, man. You know, they putting themselves into position to do what they gonna have to do, what they're called to do in prophecy. Everybody's within their lot, man. When you look at what's going on in the earth, everyone is in their lots, man. The followers of Yahweh Shai is here defending the gospel, prophesying, all right. The Judaizers, you know, the Sakari, the you know, the Pharisees, everyone is back in their lot, fulfilling, man. All right. From Jake, you know, being contrary to Yahweh Shai, to Russia, all right, being what, man? that nation that was going to rise up against this beast system, okay, this NATO, EU, American system, and start, all right, the world's third war. You see, verse 23 says, "How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder, which is America, and broken? How was Babylon become a desolation among the nations?" And we're seeing the build up to that. Okay, we're seeing the steps that's going to lead to that, man. All right. So let's get it. And what he's also going to go into is how pretty much Russia done already started doing cyber attacks in that region. All right, jamming their radars. You see, when you move troops, okay, nations try to track each other troop movement. So what's happening? Russia has started jamming particular radars and satellites of Ukraine, you know, and other nations, you know, as they move their troops around. And by the time they get those things up and running, troops gonna be in different places, man. Okay, the war started, man. All right, they just ain't started hitting them buttons yet, but the war is pretty much started, man. All right.
Situation. So this is coming in from Survey Lavrov. Urgent. Lavrov, Russia's patience with the West has come to an end. World faces irreversible consequences. Now, there has been a lot of talk about Russia invading Ukraine the last couple months. So I'm going to give you my take on this, and I think I might be right, folks, that Russia's problem really is not with Ukraine. Russia's problem is really not with the countries that surround it. Russia's problem is with NATO, because if there wasn't a NATO, Russia wouldn't have to worry about these little countries coming against it. So basically, the fight is between NATO, and NATO is the United States. Without the United States, NATO would be nothing. We fund over 80% of NATO activities around the world. If the United States was not involved in NATO, there wouldn't be a NATO, folks. So Russia's beef is with NATO, not Ukraine, not these other countries that we are using those countries to place our missiles on Russia's border. So we're going to bring you some information, but let me bring you what Lavrov said. This is Sergei Lavrov. This is Russia's foreign minister. This is like Russia's Secretary of State. Let me read the headlines one more time. Urgent. Lavrov, Russia's patience with the West has come to an end. You can take that however you want to take it, but to me, that means that Russia has had enough. They're at their wits' end. They have reached their red lines, and now the world faces irreversible consequences because the arrogancy of the United States, that does not want to negotiate any kind of peace with Russia, does not want to give Russia any security guarantees at all, zero. This is what we're facing because of our administration. Early Friday morning, the 14th of January, 2022, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov held his annual lengthy press conference. In it, he told the gathered media, Russia's patience with the actions of the West has come to an end, and we have been harnessing for a very long time. Now it is the time to go. He went on to say, while we are waiting for a response in writing from NATO on security guarantees, which he later said they expected by Wednesday, I guess Wednesday next week, Russia is now preparing for any developments of events. Obviously, Lavrov made explicitly clear, if our proposals for security guarantees are rejected by NATO, we will assess the situation and start acting in the interest of our country's safety. Russia knows how to ensure security and will not endlessly wait for some changes and promises from the West. While Lavrov spoke, Russia's Pacific Fleet, the 155th Naval Infantry Brigade, is crossing the entire breadth of Russia to deploy near Ukraine and Belarus. This is taking place along with several regiments of the four armies of the Russian Far East. This is completely unprecedented troop movement by Russia, way beyond any exercise they have ever mounted. They are scrapping the whole country for every deployable combat unit. Now, I told you guys last night, this is the largest military movement the world has ever seen since World War II. Russia is moving more equipment and more troops in over 80 years. They're pretty much activating their entire military reserves has been called up in Russia. They are going all in, folks. This is all or nothing for Russia.
So as you can see, all right, Russia has even activated their reserves. Their whole military is active. All right, the most troop movement since World War II. All right, and just as the scripture say, the brother got this is the brother Maz Naim, not Maz Naim, if I'm saying it right, so like it, brother. It says servant of Yahushua. This is Revelation 11 and 14. It says the second war was past. All right, it was the Second World War, which was 80 years ago, and as you can see, he's mentioning that there hasn't been this much troop movement since the Second World War, and that's past. All right, and what's happening now? And behold, the third war cometh quickly, and Russia's pretty much like, look, whatever y'all got to Wednesday, do what y'all gonna do, but we ain't gonna sit here and play. All right, this little game with y'all. Okay, we gonna go ahead and boot up. So however it play out, we just like my brother say in New Orleans, hey, it's up there. See, it's up there now. All right. Before the deadline of Wednesday for the negotiations, all right, Russia is putting things in place, man. For however it turned out. Fido. You see, there's the energy that Russia's moving in them hooks in their jaws, man. Okay, so let's let it continue on because he's gonna show you where Russia, all right, is posting up at, man. And when you see it, all right, it said Russia like said, "What's up?" You know.
The Russian foreign ministry was asked specifically if this means war against Ukraine. His answer was surprising. No, it means creating counter threats for the West and the appearance of Russian bases or missiles near the U.S. borders. Painful counter sanctions for the West and the like. Russia does not need a war in Ukraine. There are too many kinship ties between Ukrainians and Russians. Now, Russia has said from the start they're not going to invade Ukraine, that Ukraine really is not the target. Their target is NATO and NATO's expansion on their border. Their target has always been NATO and NATO threatening their country and their national security by placing first strike missiles surrounding Russia with troops, intimidating them on a daily basis. Now, Russia has said that they're going to start doing the same thing to the United States. They're going to start placing hardships on us, just like we have on them. They are considering placing troops and missiles in Cuba and Venezuela, and who knows where else. So I don't know if it's even going to get to that far. We might be in a war in the coming weeks. No one knows. Then Lavrov went on to say explicitly, the participation of Western instructors in the conflict in Donbass will cross all red lines and mean a direct clash between the Russian people and the NATO military. So Russia is saying, Lavrov, that the participation of United States, NATO, and Western instructors in the conflict zone will cross all the red lines of Russia and mean a direct clash between Russian people and the NATO military. Elsewhere in the world, NATO Jens Stoltenberg said in an interview with the Republic News, NATO has made a decision to admit Ukraine and Georgia into the alliance, but did not set a deadline. So NATO is constantly provoking Russia, and that was Russia's red line. They are also encouraging Finland and Sweden to join as soon as possible. So instead of trying to work out a peace agreement with Russia, United States and NATO continues to poke the Russian bear to continue to agitate Russia on all fronts. And I think we're going to reap what we have sown, folks. I think.
You damn right you're gonna reap, all right, what you sown. If a brother can put Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 14 through 16, okay, and also put Job chapter 4 verse 8, okay, because you damn right you're gonna reap what you sown. You know, and what we have to what we have to understand, what we're seeing is all war strategy from Yahweh Bashim al-Shah. You see, we're just looking at the strategy within the strategy, but ultimately it's the Most High setting it up, all right, for these nations to pretty much start canceling each other out. America gonna be completely canceled out, all right, and Yahweh Shah is gonna come through and clean up and conquer the earth in righteousness, man. You know, this is another from the brother Maz Naim, servant of Yahweh, Yahweh Shah, is Exodus 15:3 says the Lord Yahweh is a man of war. All right. The Lord, all right, Yahweh is his name. And what we're seeing is war strategy. You see, this is what we're seeing, war strategy being executed in the earth, and the Most High is behind all of it, man. Okay. Now, when you go to it's the brother Yashima tribe of Judah. This is Jeremiah 49:14. It says, I have heard a rumor from the Lord Yahweh Bashim al-Shai, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Gather ye together and come against her, which is America, and rise up to the battle. So it's the Most High that's putting this energy in the earth for these nations to rise up to the battle. All right. You can put that in, brother can put that in Isaiah. All right. The Lord of hosts mustered the battle. You know, you see, it said, I have heard a rumor, all right, from the Lord, and the ambassador sitting among the heathen, saying, gather ye together and come against her and rise up to the battle. And it's the Most High putting in the minds of these nations, all right, to just rise up to battle. All right, the talking is finna come to an end, man. All right, now we in time of just smoke. You see, Jeremiah 49:14, for lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men. And this is America, man. These nations are now looking down their nose at America now. Okay, the tables is flipping. Now these nations, all right, are planning, you know, a future without America, man. You know, America has written itself out the script through its pride, as it's finna say. Jeremiah 49:16 said, thy terribleness have deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart. See, America is used, you know, to just running through nations. America is used to just pulling up on nations and nations bowing down. All right. But see, now they're picking, all right, with a nation that got some kickback to them. Okay. And America pretty much ain't been fighting nobody, you know, as of late. All right. The brother El Ariala and Elder Rukai Kwan made a point how America been fighting bombs lately, man. Okay, Iraq, Afghanistan, them folks ain't nobody, man. All right, Russia and China is a whole different. Russia, China, Iran is gonna be a whole different scenario, man. All right, it ain't gonna be nowhere near like what America has been able to do with these other little nations, man. Okay, but America is puffed up. All right, and it says, "Oh, thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill, though thou shouldest, all right, yep, make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, said the Lord Yahweh Bashim al-Shai." So we're about to see the collapse of this American empire, and America is about to lose this war in a horrible way. Okay, America will lose this war in a horrible way. And then you seen, I mean, you heard, you know, Paul say, "Look, I think we're about to read what we sown." Well, the scriptures say that. This is Job 4:8 says, even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same. And that's all America has done, man. They finna reap the same thing that they've put in the earth. You know how many nations America has impoverished? You know how many infrastructures America have pounded with missiles? All right. If a brother can just look up, you know, how many airstrikes, okay, these Israelis and these Americans, you know, look up how many airstrikes they've done, all right, and in 2019, 2020, okay, that's finna come back. That's why so many missiles gonna hit this place, because America has hit, all right, the earth with so many missiles, man. You see? So yeah, it's finna come back, man, in a major way, man. All right, and we're seeing the buildup. We're just keeping up with the buildup that's leading to this, man. All right, so let me play this.
I think this war will kick off and very soon. NATO intel hacked. Computer hackers have successfully broken into NATO intelligence computers and stolen armament data. The leak was most likely from the logistics planning headquarters of the Armed Forces Support Inspector in Poland. Information found on the web, including armament of the Polish Army, ammunition, spare parts for combat machines, and specialized software. The equipment disclosed also includes the gear purchased by the Polish Army from the USA, Germany, and Israel. These are strategic data. For example, Russian intelligence is seeking, says General Pyotr Pytel, former head of the military counterintelligence service. In his opinion, such information is worth a lot of money. Ukraine military and government sites were hacked this morning. Also this morning, several Ukrainian government websites were down due to a major cyber attack. Below is the ministry, or Ukraine's Ministry of Foreign Affairs website, that is down. So this is in, I guess, the Ukrainian language. This was the bulletin put up on their website. It reads in part, Ukrainians, all information about you has become public. Be afraid and expect worse. Sites of Ukraine Ministry of Defense and its education ministry are also down. So, folks, I do believe the war has already started. We're going to see major developments in the coming days and weeks. I'm going to read you another article, and this is showing you right now that I think Russia is going after NATO first. I think if this war breaks out, they're going to skip the Ukraine invasion at the start, and they're going to take out NATO across Europe. They're probably going to take out NATO assets across the world, even in the United States, in the Middle East. And from this new article, you're going to see that Russia now has deployed their fighter bombers and fighter aircraft to Kaliningrad, folks, which is in short distance to Europe. Russia knows that they can take Ukraine with no problem. That's not the problem. The problem is NATO getting involved. So I do believe that Russia will skip invading Ukraine at the very start. They will go after NATO. They will eliminate all NATO bases surrounding their country. That probably includes Germany, Poland, Lithuania, even the United Kingdom, France, Italy. All the NATO bases will probably be bombed. All the satellites, the GPS satellites, will probably be taken out first. I don't know if they will attack the United States right on, but if we get involved and we counter what they're doing, then we have a full-blown World War III. So let me show you. This information has just come in. This is breaking news. Russia deploys fighter jets and bombers to Kaliningrad, folks. This is very, very serious. I'm going to show you where Kaliningrad is. So the red area right here, this is Kaliningrad. This is in between Lithuania and Poland. There's Latvia up here. Belarus is right on the side here. Ukraine is down here. This is Kiev, Ukraine. So you have Ukraine, Belarus, Lithuania, Latvia, Denmark's over here. Poland is one major NATO. They have a major NATO base in Poland that would probably be blown to smithereens Berlin, Germany also is a major target. That is where we have our a lot of major military bases in Germany right now, folks. And then over here, the map does not show England and Spain and all the other countries. So let me show you the amount of bombers that were just flown in to Kaliningrad, folks. This thing is about to kick off, I do believe. Let me show you right now. This is the map, and this is the runway that they have parked these fighter bombers. So they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now, these are just fighter aircraft. Now, what the fighter aircraft are, they are wingmen to these heavy bombers. And let me show you the heavy bombers. Now, this is Russia's top of the line strategic nuclear bombers. These bombers right now are parked. There's not even space for any more. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Let's go on down here. 14, 15, 16. These are Russia's Tu-160 bombers, folks. This can carry a large amount of nuclear missiles. You wouldn't have all these fighter bombers just for Ukraine, folks. This is for NATO bases. These bombers right now are probably fully loaded with their missiles.
Listen, man. All right. Russia ain't bullshit. Okay. All these games that American NATO is trying to play, these folks ain't bullshit, man. All right. These are all nuclear bombers. And how they work is one of these nuclear bombers gets sent on a mission. Because remember, he just named all these different NATO bases. Matter of fact, let's pull this map up real quick. We're gonna go back to the video. Okay, let's pull up a map. All right. Let's see what Russia is doing, because they ain't pulling out, because all they would need is one bomber for Ukraine, and Ukraine will sit their ass down. Okay, he'll do a turnaround. That bomber will do a turnaround, escorted by them fighter jets, and Ukraine, all right, will be through. You see, all them nuclear fighter jets, them bombers, is for the EU. Okay, because one thing about it is they know if they invade Ukraine, NATO gonna jump in. So what they've done, they've put 500,000 troops on the border of Ukraine, all right, in case they want to get cute, as they start blowing the EU to smithereens. See, what we have to understand, let's go back a little bit, because let me pull this map up, but let's go back a little bit. World War II. Now, remember, in World War II, Russia was an ally to Western European nations and America. Russia is the main reason that the war ended, because Russia invaded Germany. Okay, what happened after that? The Western nations in America pretty much carved out this beast system what we have today. That's where you get the EU. All right, all that comes post World War II, and pretty much they left Russia out the deal. Russia has been being treated like a stepchild, all right, for these decades. Okay, Russia ain't been able to partake in the deals and different things that these Western powers have gotten to partake in. You know, so Russia didn't have the finances to build up their conventional military as America. So what Russia did, they just put all their energy and investment into missiles. Okay, Russia knows that it can't go into no conventional war with NATO and America. It'll be stretched too thin. They don't have enough resources. So they even it by nuclearizing everything. Okay, and having missile technology that the NATO and America cannot defend against. And then they also came up with missile defense systems that can defend themselves against NATO and American missiles. Okay, Russia's military since World War II has been centered around defeating EU and America. Now, the EU don't stand a chance. Russia gonna wear EU ass out. Okay, it's gonna be a nightmare. Russia gonna be a nightmare over there. All right, and these EU nations know it. So let me show you. Hold on, make sure it's pulled up. All right. So what we see on the map now, you got Norwegian, you got Finland, you got Sweden. All right here next to the right of Norwegian. All these red dots, these are NATO bases. So what Russia has done is pretty much pulled up in the middle of all these bases. They pretty much setting up in a central location between all these military bases. That way they can send a bomber escorted by 2 or 3 fighter jets to France, a bomber escorted by 2 or 3 fighter jets to Denmark, a nuclear bomber escorted by 2 or 3 fighter jets, all right, to the UK, a bomber escorted by, all right, 2 or 3 fighter jets to Finland, Sweden. You see? Now, Russia just like it's like this. It's like, let's say you in school, all right, and it's a crowd of people, saying how they gonna jump you, and you're gonna jump this nigga. So imagine if you see the big huddle and you just bust up and walk in the middle of it. That's what Russia is doing. Russia like, well, shit, we just gonna pull up. All right, y'all pulled up on us. We finna slide too. So I'm gonna put myself in position for however it go down, and we just gonna see how it turn out, man. That's what Russia at, man. They putting themselves in the middle of all these NATO bases, man, so they can reach all of them. You see, and this is because of America, Germany, France, and they not in Ukraine. That's America with the shit. But see, France and Germany and these EU nations gonna pay for it. Why do you think the EU gonna flip, man? Because it doesn't make sense for them to be suffering these losses, all right, over something that they ain't even involved in. You see? So you can see, all right, all these NATO bases and Russia is just pulled up in the middle of them, like, we gonna see. So let's go back to the video, man. Yeah, man, this because Russia know that he can't wait and play around and let America and NATO strike first, or they in a position where they gotta try to scramble, things in a position. No, they know they got to be on deck when this thing jump off, man, so they can get them shots off, man. As you can see, man, them all nuclear bombers, man. They ain't even got no room to park them. All, all in the woods, man. You see? And that's just one location, man. Plenty of them.
And they're not for Ukraine, I don't believe. I think they're to take out NATO bases across Europe. I think once the attack happens, it's going to be a blitzkrieg attack. They're going to blanket NATO, and they're going to take out all of NATO in your time. Russia is not playing games. Russia has warned the world over 6 months ago that they have red lines. They tried to negotiate in good faith. The United States and NATO turned them down, did not honor any of their requests. So now here we are, folks, on the precipice of World War III. And it's not because of Russia. Russia has legitimate security concerns, and the United States has said no, a absolute no to any of their red lines, any of their security concerns. And now we are facing World War III and a major war in Europe. Like I said, these are the Tu-160 fighter bombers. You can see, and there's I don't know if there's any more, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Then there was one over here, 15 of these major fighter bombers. These are really comparable to our B-1 Lancet bombers, but this is one of Russia's Soviet era bombers. They have just begun to remanufacture the same aircraft, and they have upgraded this bomber. But folks, for Russia to send all these planes just in the last 12 hours, along with their fighter aircraft to Kaliningrad, means that they are in striking distance of Europe right now. So let me read a little bit about this article. This is the major development. It shows you that the time is growing short. As shown on the map below, Kaliningrad is a small portion of Russia, separated from the main Russian nation, situated in Europe, below south of Lithuania and north of Poland. So this is more of a map. You can see right here, the red dot right here, Kaliningrad, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Belarus is right here also. They could place fighter bombers in Belarus or missiles right in this corner.
Because as you can see, all right, where you see the red, location market, that's where those fighter jets are at. Okay, now Belarus is pro-Russia, so Russia can align Belarus with nothing but missiles and Poland, Poland, thing. It's gonna, oh boy, Lithuania, Estonia, all right. Well, you Americans is watching the playoffs. This is what's happening, man. You see, this is what's happening, man. All right, and Russia just lining it up. Like I say, Russia just pulled up in the middle of Europe, like said, shit. Okay, all right. Denmark, say Germany. Okay, they gonna get their woe out. Okay. Man, but it's all because of America, man. You see, and they gonna come to that conclusion, man. Okay, and they gonna deal with this whore, man. You see, all this shit happening is because of America, and America way over here some goddamn well, man. But Russia pulling up on these folks, man, and you see. You gotta stop hanging around.
Poland is right here, so this would be a fairly easy flight over to Warsaw, Poland, and to Germany, folks, to take out those two NATO bases if President Putin gives the order. Placing these military aircraft at this location puts Russian forces well within range of European nations that are a part of NATO. So that's what I am really thinking. I'm thinking that Russia is going to skip invading Ukraine at the moment. They're going to work on taking out all the NATO bases. So once they do invade Ukraine, that NATO will be defenseless. NATO will be probably totally obliterated, taken out of the picture, and Russia will take over the northern part of Ukraine if they choose to invade. They might not even invade, folks. They won't need to anymore. If Russia takes out NATO, there will be no reason to invade. If they do invade, they might invade some of these other countries, like Poland or even some of Europe. But NATO is Russia's enemy. Really, not Ukraine is the enemy of Russia. It's NATO. So I do think this is a proof showing you that Russia is very serious you know, that we dismissed all of their red lines. So let me also bring you up to date. I'm going to give you some more information on the cyber attack that has just happened. This is from Reuters News. Reuters News is an American news agency. Be afraid, Ukraine hit by cyber attacks as Russia moves in more troops. So let me go ahead and read this for you. Kiev says around 70 government sites were hit by the cyber attack. Drumbeat of war is sounding loud, says U.S. diplomat. Moscow says it could take military action unless its demands are met. NATO says it will sign a cyber cooperation pact with Kiev. Ukraine was hit by a cyber attack, splashing a warning across government websites to be afraid and expect the worst. While Russia, which has amassed 100,000 troops on its neighbor's frontier, released pictures of more of its forces on the move. So that's that article. Let's keep on going. This is from an.
All right, so if a brother can put Ezekiel 38, let's go verse 4 through 10. You know, Ezekiel 38, 4 through 10. And I'm gonna get this other video queued up. You know, just wanted to show you that, you know, Russia, all right, has placed nuclear bombs, all right, right beside Europe. All right. So, you know, Wednesday, you know, maybe NATO in America, you know, kind of pipe down a little bit, maybe not. All right. Well, you know, one thing, Russia is putting themselves in position where all they waiting on is the green light, man. All right, because you best believe all those bombers are fully scrapped down. Okay. Now, let me get this one. All right, now we know that as we await, all right, other things to happen as far as the MOTB, all right, we understand that it's not going to take long. The way these nations is putting themselves in position, you know, when Most High get the green light for these nations to go with it, they already gonna be on deck, man. Everybody gonna be on deck, you know. So we're just seeing the movement. All right. I'm saying next Wednesday could be, you know, nuclear war, you know. But hey, somebody might get touched, man. You know, then a peace agreement might pop up. All right. You know, for the time being, you know. Let me get. But it's getting past the point, you know, of talking, man. Okay. Now, I'm gonna play this one. This one like 14 minutes. So I'm gonna play, you know, all this one, and we'll go from there.
Information that you guys need to know. So 2022, and we're back tonight. We didn't want to have to do another update, but we got some new information that you guys need to know. So we're doing a very short update. We will try to do this in under 15 minutes.
All right, let's get All right, this is brother Yashima Tribe of Judah. This is Ezekiel 34. It says, I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws and will bring thee forth. Okay, the Most High is bringing Russia forth. You know, he's putting it on their spirit to come forth, man. It says, in all of thy army, horses and horsemen. Hey, them fighter jets is like the modern day horsemen, the cavalry. You see, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor. Yeah, you got the bombers, you got the fighter jets, and they clothed with all sorts of weaponry, man. All right. It says, even a great company You see that with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords, man. All of them handling everything we just seen got nukes on them, man. Got missiles on them, man. Okay. Everybody handling that iron, man. You see, this is Ezekiel 38:5. It says this is Persia. It says Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya, with them, all of them with shield and helmet. And that's dealing with who, man? Okay, mainly Iran is Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya. These northern, African countries. Okay, and then it says Gomar and all his bands, and the house of Togomar of the north quarter and all his bands, many people with thee. Now, let's get a map, because see, NATO, thinks that they have, okay, Russia surrounded, okay, with their bases. But when you look at the alliance of the scriptures, show you how, hey, the Most High is a man of war. He got this thing mapped out. Okay. So let's get this map here. Okay. Let me zoom in some. Now, when you look at what's going on, let me see. And what he finna show you is right here in this area between Sweden and Finland, the Baltic Sea. Russia has just pulled his navy up over here. Okay. Because NATO has just offered an invitation to Sweden and Finland. Like, yeah, you can join NATO anytime. Yeah, you can, So Russia has pulled up in between Sweden and Finland, like, okay, you get involved in the shit you want to. Okay. Now, you just down here with Poland, that you have the Air Force. Russia is pretty much deploying Air Force here where Poland is at. But up here in the north, they're deploying, all right, these nuclear ships, submarines. Okay. So now NATO is being surrounded. And then remember, you have Turkey at the south. So Turkey is down here with Romania, all right, Italy. You see, they at the south. Okay. And then what do you have down here, man? Okay. Iran. You see? So what's happening, because you got NATO bases, okay, within this area below Kazakhstan. But guess what? That's between Iran and Russia. So who got who surrounded? You see? So you have Iran, which is Persia, all right? Gog and Magog, which is Russia, and then Gomar, which is Turkey, man. And they all over the EU, man. Okay? Yahweh Shem Al-Shai has this thing mapped out exactly how he wanted, man. Okay? So let's go back to the I'm gonna play this one. He's gonna go into the Russian Navy movement. All right.
So this is going to be a stretch for me because Adrian said I'm known for being long-winded. So anyway, Al Turner is breaking another news article. I have confirmed this information with other articles around the world. Breaking news: Russia sends amphibious assault fleet or ships into the Baltic Sea toward Sweden, and the ships are loaded with troops, tanks, and equipment. So what you're looking at, this is a map of the area. This is the Gulf of, I can't pronounce it, Botham, the Åland Islands, the Gulf of Finland here. Finland is right here. Sweden is right here. So these are the two countries that NATO wanted to join. They said that they could join any time, and now Russia is making its presence known in the Baltic Sea. They're sending 3 large assault ships loaded with tanks off the coast of Sweden. Now, this is Gotland Island right here. So Sweden is putting troops in Gotland Island right now. There is troops on the street, tanks in the street, and Russia's amphibious fleet is sailing up from down here from Kaliningrad. They're sailing toward this island here. So Sweden has put their military on high alert, and we're going to read about that just in a few minutes. Just 3 days after Sweden let it be known that they were thinking of asking to join NATO, Russia has sent an amphibious assault fleet into the Baltic Sea near Sweden. And get this, the ships are loaded with landing craft, armor, and troops. Russia's Northern Fleet, North Fleet amphibious group in the Baltic consists of Ropuchus class vessels. And I cannot pronounce these vessels, folks. I'm just going to kind of skip that. There's one. Here's another name of the vessel. And Ivan Grin class. Here's another one. This is in Russian. I'm not even going to try to tackle that name. So these are photos from Sweden. These photos were taken today of these 3 assault ships. They're looks like pretty big ships. This is 012 assault ship. Okay, this is 016, another assault ship heading towards Sweden right now. And here is the last one, 017. So let me read a little bit. President Vladimir Putin said recently any other nations that moved to join NATO would be dealt with immediately to protect Russia's security. After Putin's remarks, NATO Jens Stoltenberg laughingly made the smart-ass remark, hey, guess what? The decision to admit Ukraine into NATO has already been made, and if Sweden wants to join, well, that can be done very quickly. Now, there's a large number of amphibious landing ships near Sweden at a time when 100,000 troops are massed on the Ukraine border, and Russia's leadership has declared that its patience has finally run out. In response to these loaded amphibious landing ships off their coast, Sweden has made an emergency deployment of troops. Military troops are now driving on the E4 road north.
Once again, you know, as you can see, all these, European nations is dealing with the shit that America has started, man, and NATO, which NATO is nothing but like an extension of America, because, like I said, America pretty much sponsors 80% of NATO, So you had this guy, the chief of NATO, Jens Stoltenberg, he's saying, yeah, we already made the decision to let Ukraine, join NATO. And if Sweden want to, join, we can do that swiftly too. So here it is. You have an Edomite that's nowhere in sight. All right. You think he's going to be on high alert with those troops as those Russian ships are pulling up? You think Jens Stoltenberg is going to be on Gotland Island, to try to defend Sweden from Russia? These some very proud devils, man. Hell no, man. How the hell could you fight in the military when these people are putting you in danger because of their pride, man? Yeah, like the brother put, and then if a brother can put Revelation on, I think 17, 16, and 18, chapter 17, verse 16 and 18. This is Psalms 12 and 3 from the brother Nabala, Virginia Island Straight Gate. It says the Lord shall cut off all flattering lips and the tongue that speaketh proud things. who have said with our tongue we will prevail, and our lips are our own, who is Lord over us, man. And this is how Esau Edom thinks, man. Like he just do and say anything, but there's no consequences, man. Okay? This war is gonna cause the earth to shake. And it's gonna be started by the pride of these Edomites, man, who think they can do and say any damn thing, man. You know?
Of or north of Stockton. So this is footage coming in from Sweden now, rushing military equipment to the border. They have put their military on high alert because of these Russian warships. Some troops have also been airlifted to Gotland Island, where locals are stunned to see armored military vehicles and armed soldiers patrolling the streets. Also, the United States is starting to airlift supplies and military weapons to Sweden right now. I'm going to show you the flight tracker showing you these heavy airlift weapons now coming into Sweden from NATO. Armored vehicles are now deployed on the streets of Gotland Island. So this is a picture of the tanks. There are at least 3 tanks right here in the picture. This is on Gotland Island, and these are some more pictures of tanks now they are putting on the island. Reading more into it, Gotland is a strategic point because it would allow Russia to control the Baltic Sea, and it would help isolating the Baltic countries. NATO has feared an attack on the Suwalki Gap for this same exact reason. An offensive could be launched from Kaliningrad. A top military chief in Sweden said on Friday that there is increased Russian activity in the Baltic Sea, which deviates from normal picture, leading the Scandinavian nation to raise its level of preparedness. Receiving reports now of an explosion at a power station in Kolbäck, Sweden, west of Stockholm. Authorities are already saying this is sabotage. So there are reports now that somebody has blown up one of the power stations in Sweden. So this war might have already started, folks. This is just fresh information coming in. Update is 6:31 p.m. Aircraft from the Strategic Air Command Heavy Lift Air Wing is now landing on Gotland Island. So here's the flight tracking software. These are the planes that are coming in, landing, and leaving this island, folks. So NATO is reinforcing Gotland Island off of Sweden right now, preparing for a Russian invasion or a Russian attack. This is all going on right now. So I wanted to bring you this article. So let's go ahead and confirm Hal Turner's article with some more articles, folks, since a lot of you guys think Hal Turner is fake news. So let's go ahead and confirm that. Sweden boasts patrols on Gotland Island amid Russian tensions. This is from actually January the 13th. So let me read you a little bit about this. Sometimes it takes a day to get the news out. This is a picture of Swedish soldiers now patrolling the harbor in Gotland Island. Soldiers from Gotland's regiment patrol Visby Harbor amid
These boys had no idea. Boy, these niggas have no idea, man. Okay? Post Sweden. They have no idea, man. The shit that their leaders is getting them into, man. You folks have no idea. Okay?
Island. Soldiers from Gotland's regiment patrol Visby Harbor amid increased tensions between NATO and Russia over Ukraine on the Swedish island of Gotland, Sweden, January the 13th, 2022. Sweden's military said on Thursday it was ramping up its visible activities on the Baltic Sea island of Gotland amid increased tensions between NATO and Russia and a recent deployment of Russian landing craft in the Baltic Sea. Moscow has spooked the West by massing troops near Ukraine, sparking fears that it is considering invading. Moscow denies such any plans, saying it can deploy forces on its territory, however it chooses. Gotland is Sweden's biggest island and is strategically important and lies around 330 kilometers or 205 miles from Kaliningrad, the headquarters of Russian Baltic Fleet. In 2019, Sweden deployed an updated ground-to-air missile defense system on the island. So let's go to another article. This is from AP News. AP News is a well-known news agency. Swedes step up military contingency over Russian activity. A top military chief in Sweden said on Friday that there is an increased activity in the Baltic Sea, which deviates from the normal picture, leading the Scandinavian nation's military to raise its preparedness. I'm just skipping through these very quickly, folks. We also have some breaking news coming in from TASS, Russian news agency. SNAP combat readiness checks kick off in the Eastern Military District. It was specified that during the inspection, the military units of the Eastern Military District would be brought to a higher degree of readiness. I'm not going to read all these articles. We're just going to read you the headlines. This is coming in from RT Television. Russia orders SNAP inspection of troops' readiness for rapid deployment. A series of drills has been initiated amid freezing temperatures. Troops in the Russian Far East have begun winter inspections, according to a statement by the country's Ministry of Defense, as Moscow holds talks with NATO about de-escalating tensions. Officials announced on Friday that forces stationed in the Eastern Military District, which covers a vast swath of land from Siberia to, to the Sea of Japan, were undertaking inspections and exercises intended to ensure their military readiness. So let's keep on going. Russian submarine with 160 nukes on board surfaces off the U.S. coast. Russia.
You hear that? All right. Russian submarines with 160 nukes, okay, on board surfaces off the U.S. coast. Now remember, okay, this is only one nation, Russia, and Russia got all these other nations scrambling, man. China ain't even, Iran, okay, India, North Korea, Turkey. You see? The bear is active, man. And then they got these folks scrambling, man. And see, they got them submarines that America can't detect like that. So America just showing like, look, man, we can we can pull up if that's what it is, we can pull up, man. 160 nukes, man. Do you know what they do to America? All right.
Nuclear submarine of the Boreal project, which carries 16 Bulava ballistic missiles on board, unexpectedly appeared off the coast of the United States, having caused serious concerns in Washington. Each of these missiles in service with a submarine is capable of carrying up to 10 nuclear warheads. This created an extremely serious danger for the United States, given that the U.S. military has been not able to track the Russian nuclear submarine. According to NetEase Publications, Russian nuclear submarine of the Boreal class, according to other.
So each missile is capable of having 10 warheads, man. Okay? That's 1,600 warheads on one submarine, man. Popping up off the coast of America, man. And they can't detect them. He just told they can't detect them.
Other sources, it was an Akula project submarine approached the United States coastline unnoticed. It was possible to establish the whereabouts of the nuclear submarine with up to 160 nuclear warheads on board after the sub started going back to the base. A submarine of this class is capable of destroying most of the territory of the United States of America in just minutes. So one Russian sub, folks, can pretty much decimate our whole country with nuclear missiles. So this is what has been happening in the last 12 hours. Russia redeploys military hardware and personnel to the western border. Russia may increase the strength of its army on the western border to up to 500,000 soldiers. So Russia's not messing around, folks. Russia is going all in. They're not messing around. They're putting everything in but the kitchen sink right now. For the time being, Russia has deployed as many as 100,000 troops and thousands of units of military hardware on the border with Ukraine. Many videos showing the transportation of military equipment from the eastern part of Russia toward the western borders have appeared on the internet recently. It appears that Russia is putting its troops on high alert against the background of a very high risk of provocations on the part of NATO. Given the scale of the transfer of military hardware, it appears that Russia is taking efforts to build up the troops on its western border to 500,000. Most of the Russian troops will thus be deployed in the western regions of the country. So I will be leaving all of these articles in the description box so you guys can go back and look at the articles. Now,
So this is where we at, man. You know, I say Russia is becoming very active, you know, on this world stage. Okay. Now let's go back to Ezekiel. All right, 38 and 6. It says, Gomar and all his bands, the house of Togomar of the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. Okay. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself. And you see, Russia been preparing for themselves, man. All right. Thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So you know, all right, Iran got some of them Russian missiles, man. Turkey got them Russian missiles, man. Okay. There's missiles. You best believe in Northern Africa, there's some missiles. Okay. Russian missiles there, man. And this bear gonna do damage, man. It says after many days, I wanna jump. Yeah, I'm gonna jump to 10. And it says, thus said the Lord power, it shall also come to pass that at the same time things shall come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. You know, if a brother can put verse 11 as well, Ezekiel 38 and 11. It said, thus said the Lord power, it shall all come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought, man. So the Most High is in full control of everything, man. You know, I think that's in Sirach 18 and 1. I don't think my phone is there. But I think Sirach 18, yeah, Sirach chapter 18, verse 1 through 3. A brother can put that up there. Okay. But we know America will be defenseless against these attacks, man. You know, America gonna be completely defenseless, man. And see, the EU nations, you gotta consider that they have to deploy troops and all these different things based on what America is doing. So these nations considering this, like, hold on, man. You know, what is the common denominator? Why in the hell we got Russian troops pulling up on us, man? Okay? We don't have one soldier in Ukraine. You see? So why the hell is Russian troops pulling up on us, man? Now, when you go to Revelation, read 17:17 first, then I'm going to jump up to 16. This Yashima tribe of Judah, Revelation 17:17. For the Most High have put it in their hearts to fulfill his will. See, this whole EU alliance with all these EU nations, America, you know, then the formation of NATO, the Most High put it in the Edomites' mind to do this and to agree and give their kingdoms unto the beast, unto the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. And see, these nations have given, you know, their kingdoms, you know, unto the beast, have made alliance with this beast system until the time of what? Of the words of the Most High be fulfilled, man, which is going to lead into this nuclear war, man. Okay? And the verse 16 says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, because all these nations that have these NATO bases, the majority of them are what, man? EU nations, man. These 10 horn nations. You see, the bear is mounted up on these 10 horn nations, man. Okay, and these 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, which is America. And we seeing why. Russia is putting bombers right beside them, nuclear bombers right beside their country, because of what America is doing. And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Because what is America doing? All these unilateral movements. If a brother can look up that definition real quick, unilateral, you know, unilateral. Because this is how America is moving, and all these nations, you know, are having to deal with the decisions that America is making, man. Okay, so they're gonna come to the conclusion like, look, we gotta get her out of here, man. Okay, they ain't gonna hate the whore to the point where they gonna burn her with that fire, them nukes, man. You see, this Sirach 18:1 says, "He that liveth forever have created all things in general. The Lord only is righteous; there is none other but He." Verse 3 is the point. Okay, Sirach 18:3 says, "Who governeth the world with the palm of his hand, and all things obey his will, for he is the king of all, by his power dividing the holy things among them from the profane." So it's Yahweh Bashim Shai, you know, that's causing everything that we see, you know, happening, man. Okay. All these troop movements, you know, the division between, you know, these EU nations and America. Okay. All these troop movements, everything that we see is being caused by Yahweh Bashim Shai. All right, like this precept from earlier, this is from the brother Virginia Island Straightgate, Isaiah 13:4. It says, "The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustereth," all right, "the host of the battle." So it's Yahweh Bashim Shai that's causing these things to come together, man. You know, because the end game is his son Yahweh Shai conquering all these heathen nations, man, and righteousness, man. Let's get Haggai 2 and 22, you know, and we'll end it there. Yeah. And the brother can get that Ezekiel 30, 38 and 11, Bible Shah. But when you go to unilateral, now this brother Nathan Yawasop, now you will hear about how America is making, you know, unilateral moves, you know, within this foreign policy, which means they're acting on behalf of themselves, not counseling with nobody, not considering how their decision is affecting anybody, but they're moving, all right, based on what they want to do. Now you got unilateral. It says of one relating to, involving, or effecting only one side, performed, all right, or undertaken by only one side. And see, we've seen Trump do this a lot. You know, Trump, all right, was doing this a lot. Well, he will make decisions, okay, that will only benefit America, and pretty much, you know, it negatively affected everyone else. It says obligating only one or two or more parties, nations, because you seen America and those Israelis, they did a lot of moves. You know, they was in cahoots. All right, that you know, the whole Jerusalem thing with the Palestinians. You see, it says nations or persons as a contract or let me see. It says or an agreement. Yep, or an agreement. Okay. So that's when a nation pretty much makes decisions by themselves, you know, that benefit them. All right. And that's what America has been doing. And it's to the point where the EU, like, come on, man. You got these folks pulling up on me. And they say, I ain't got one troop. You know, we ain't got no problems with Russia, nothing, but these folks pulling up on me. You see? How would you feel? You know? Let's see. All right, this is the brother Yashima tribe of Judah, Ezekiel 30:11. It says, and thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates, man. All right. And this is the energy that Russia, you know, is in, man. Okay. This is what this is gonna be the end game, because America and these EU nations can't defend themselves from Russia, man. All right, and they know this, man. This is Haggai 2:22. It says, and I will overthrow the throne of kingdoms, and I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the heathen, and I will overthrow the chariots and those that ride in them, and the horses, and their riders shall come down, everyone by the sword of his brother. Because these are all Edomites, you know, that's going in. Okay, this is mainly Edomites. Now you got Moab, you know, then you have the Persians jump in, but mainly the main nation that's in the heat of the is gonna be in the heat of the fight, and these Edomites, and they're gonna be taking each other out, man. You see, then Yahushua is gonna come play cleanup, man. Okay, with these heathens, man. He's gonna come mop the floor with everybody, you know, including Russia. You see? So this is where we at, man, as far as all right, what we seeing moving and things happening. Like I said, we'll see how it play out, you know, you know, things are in position, you know, and you know, they done left the negotiation table and they gonna start moving, all right, weaponry, man. So we're gonna see how you know how it play out. You know, Wednesday supposed to be the deadline, all right, and pretty much what you might see is America and NATO, you know, act with some sense, all right, because we know it's time, you know, for war, but we know there's other things that have to happen as well, you know. So we just watch these things build up, these movements, and you know, keep up with how you know things are trending. So Lord will, you brothers, you know, you few sisters were edified. Once again, we give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakapadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders on GMS. Rule well, teach well, being great example to his younger brothers, and peace and blessing Salutations to the hopefully till next time I say Shalom, Kwame Mashallah, or Bible Ball, DTA soon.